people how to build relationships in business. So give
Yeah,
us some
so
tips on that.
well, it's a funny thing. The house I live in, I built myself. Me and my 70-year-old apprentice, my dad. I worked
Did you
as
say
working
70 or 7?
70,
Wow.
70-year-old. So I was working in the Australian Taxation Office, working for the government at the time. I took long service leave. I took 12 weeks off work, and Dad and I built this house. And I built it by relationship. And, Tom, at the time, I didn't really think much about it. But what I did was what I do now in business and what I teach other people to do. I tapped into my network. We all know lots of people, but we often don't think to ask those people for help. And so, I'd say to your listeners now, get out your mobile phone, get out your cell phone, and start scrolling through your contacts. And I guarantee you've got hundreds, maybe thousands of them in your
Yeah,
phone.
just ask somebody to build you a house.
Well, yeah, but look at those names, and I guarantee you'll find names in there of people that you've forgotten you even knew. And they've got good business networks and good connections. And all you got to do is just reach out and say, hey, I'm looking for help with, or I want to connect with, or who do you know who? And it's really simple to tap into your network. And one of the other things I've found is that people, when they go to business functions, they get really scared talking to strangers. Everyone's really good at the hello, my name is, and what do you do? But after that, there's the sound of crickets.
Mm-hmm.
And so, we've got to find some common ground with the other person. What have you got in common that you can talk about? With a bloke like you, we talk about, dogs maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I've had Cocker Spaniels. I know you've got German Shepherds.
Right.
We could talk about dogs. We could talk about, fat guys playing tennis. I believe you've got a bit.
Yep.
There's all sorts of things that you can talk about if you find out what you got in common.
We could
And
talk
so
about dogs that I've dated too.
well, there you go. So you got to find the common ground, and then get the other person talking more than you do. So
Mm-hmm.
use the 80-20 rule. Get them talking 80% of the time, and you talk 20% of the time. And the way to do that is to ask some open-ended questions.
Mm-hmm.
And so, Tom, how many breeds of dogs have you trained?
Yeah, so that's well, we had German Shepherds, Belgian Malinois, and we have pet dogs too that we train. So yeah, that just opens up a whole thing right there.
Yeah, and so you can just go down that,
Mm-hmm.
that little rabbit hole and just keep asking questions. It gets you talking. And here's the thing: when we finish the conversation and you walk away, you're going to go, "Gee, that Lindsay Adams, he's such a nice guy." And all I did was get you talking about you.
And they say you're a great conversationalist.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
say 2 words.
Absolutely. And then, here's another thing that I always do. I try to do the PS. Now, you know what a PS is, a postscript.
Mm-hmm.
You're writing a letter and you write a PS. I mean, who writes letters these days? But uh, anyway, so a PS in my language, and I wrote about it in the book, is a small act of positive service. Now, I was in the US a couple of years back. I haven't been anywhere in the last 12 months, of course.
Yeah, I mean,
But a couple of years back, I was at a conference. It's lunchtime, I'm at the buffet, I'm in the queue, and I walk up and I finally get to the table. And you know how it works. There's a big pile of plates and there's the knives and
mm-hmm.
forks. And so I grabbed a plate and I grabbed the knife and fork bundle and I turned around to the guy behind me and I looked at his name badge and his name was Bob. I said, "G'day, Bob. I'm Lindsay. Here's a plate and a knife and fork." Well, this guy, he went, "What? Oh, thanks." And then as we went down the buffet table, filling our plates, we were sort of making idle conversation. Then we sat together and we ate our meal together. That guy has become my second best friend for life.
Wow.
Seriously, I've got an open invitation. Next time I'm in the US, I come stay at his house. We're doing some interesting business things together. And all that stemmed from that simple act of positive service. I handed him a plate.
Well,
Now,
I guarantee you, Lindsay, if you hand me a plate near a buffet, I'll be your friend too.
so it just think about how can you serve someone else in a small way that's memorable, that makes you